你好，你好吗？我还活着，为这一天感谢上帝，谢谢你的支持，我希望你一切都好。I'm sorry I can't give you subtitles right now. I really appreciate your time and your respect. It's difficult for me to get, but again, 再次感谢你对我一生的工作感兴趣。Thank you for your interest in my life's work. I am ultimately trying to help all humans be healthier mentally, physically, and spiritually. I feel qualified in doing so on the basis that the degree of health that I uphold for myself, mentally, physically, and spiritually, seems to be perceived as expansive to all those around me. So naturally, I feel qualified to help guide others in this way. You can feel free to not agree with anything that I say. I do understand the significance to my own honesty, to my own mental health. And this discussion is strictly for mental health. If you have the means to go to a professional to help you sort out your mental health, you can use that option. They are considered professionals for a reason, and they do have strong opinions that will be able to help you. They have done their studies and they do deserve their credit. And as that medical professional, thank you for helping people discover a healthier mental health for themselves. I know it's very tricky. My mental health was not always good, but it is now. I strongly encourage you to flex your intuitional right as a doctor to give your patient credit when you can tell that they know their shit, but they just need some guidance. It's your intuitional right as a doctor to do so. And you should be free to use that. In doing so, you may have to admit that you don't know the answer sometimes, and that's okay. But we still really appreciate your input because you know your shit. But you don't necessarily know everything. Different individuals have a very wide variety of needs, as I know you know as a mental health professional. So without rambling too much, I'm not trying to take away your credit, but make sure you don't take away theirs. Thank you for accepting that maturely. Now, a perspective I would like to offer is, as the medical professional, they generally offer mental diagnosis and then go about their day because, again, we know they're trained and qualified to do so. But something they may not consider is, although you may remember a patient well for different reasons, largely, again, they go about their day. That individual was very much so suffering in their own life, in their home, and were seeking mental answers and went to a mental health professional to be responsible about it because they didn't feel like they had strong mental support at home for whatever reason. And so in that patient is going to put a lot of value into whatever mental evaluation they receive from that medical professional. So that medical professional has the right to give the diagnosis and move on, as I said. That individual, that patient goes home. That is what they believe is the answer in a lot of times. And that is what they believe is wrong with them. And it might be, but it might not be. And you, as the individual, need to understand that when you seek their help, they do have opinion worth hearing. But a very important, the very most important thing to your mental health as a human being is your own honesty to yourself first and to everyone else after that. And if you can maturely face your downfalls and correct them and find new downfalls and correct them and you can give yourself credit on the things that you know you are doing right, that is the secret to developing a more self-sustaining mental health. As the individual trying to develop your own healthy mental health, you need to be able to evaluate your source of the mental evaluation. Please hold your maturity. Parents that did not have parents that gave healthy mental evaluations to them, for whatever reason, will have a much harder time giving healthy mental evaluations to others. The truth is, those parents are very possibly suffering in their own, whether they know or not. But regardless, this is a fresh developing child, and ultimately, they need to develop a healthy mental health. Their honesty needs to be understood as the most important. If they can be perfectly honest with themselves and admit when they're wrong, they can also admit when they're right. Being able to admit when you're right gives yourself credit that other people can't give you if they are the wrong person. Meaning, if they are the one wrong in the situation, and you truly feel that way, you're allowed to feel that way. You don't have to punch them in the face, but you're allowed to feel that way. So, have proper evaluation of the source of your mental evaluation. Don't give that opinion too much credit if you feel like it's damaging you or not giving you credit on something you feel you need credit for. And if you did something that you feel you need credit for, well, you need to take credit for that. It's up to you to do so. And that's just honest. So, you need to do that. Respectfully, if you have a situation where you have a home situation where you're not really getting a lot of really positive feedback in what you want to be doing and how you feel, you don't feel comfortable in really being yourself around people in your home, that does happen. If you decide to start distancing yourself with time, you have to remember that you're not intentionally hurting them. You're very much so protecting yourself. And if they perceive that as hurting them, which if they're only giving you poor evaluation, there's a strong possibility they're going to take it personally, right? And it's not really personal to them. It's very much so protecting your own mentality. That doesn't mean they have to be cut out. It doesn't mean they don't have to be cut out. And everything in the in-between, it's completely up to you. And the situation, but you need to be honest. If you need a lot of distance, take it. If you need a little distance, let them still be around. But you need to be honest with the evaluation. And you also have to be honest with the evaluation from the medical professional if you have the means to get to one. So you can see how, if you put all this together, and then you factor in meditation, well, now you're giving yourself credit. This is how you feel because you're meditating, and this is how you feel. And if you're allowing yourself to think a corrupt way inside yourself. It does matter. And don't let that happen in your meditation. And then you can absorb what the doctor said and take it at high value. And you can evaluate your source and take it at an appropriate quantity of value. And then you put it all together and you decide for yourself. And that is the secret to developing a self-sustainable mental health. If people die or leave your life for any reason, you can still evaluate yourself and keep yourself on check because you trust yourself to be honest. Thank you for accepting that maturely. If you do not agree with that perspective, you're allowed to not agree with that perspective. I am not judging you. However, the degree of health that I have for myself is very much so what I want for others. And I believe everything I just said, even if you don't. Thank you for accepting that. Maturely, I do have people in my life that understand that I've done this with my health and that I don't have any of these food addictions and all those things. And I don't want to harp on it in this moment. But I do have people that will hear me talk about it and still not really be able to grasp that that would have done anything for me. They think, or I'm sorry if they don't think that way, but it certainly feels to me like they think if I ate like them or I ate like me, it wouldn't have really made a difference. It wouldn't have made any difference to the quality of my life. And if you feel that way, you're allowed to feel that way. And respectfully, I disagree with you because I am following nature, possibly, almost guaranteed, to a degree that you don't comprehend. If you think that being pure on my diet didn't offer me any perks from nature, that is a naive perspective from my perspective, because we are all nature. You are nature, I am nature. We can't escape that. And until you respect nature, you won't get that. Because nature respects those that respect it and can't respect those that don't respect it, because that's God's law. I tell you that because I follow nature and I can't lie, because nature doesn't lie, because that's God's law too. I don't mean to give you this energy, but this all goes into the health understanding I want to give you. So this all goes into. And it's very much so an understanding that you are very much so going to be able to instantly apply and instantly, intuitionally comprehend. It's going to be an aha moment for whoever watches it. And I'm positive of that because it's nature and nature doesn't lie. And now, neither do I. And I'm hoping you're taking this seriously and maturely. It's not up to me. Lying is damaging to human mentality. And logistically, the closer to nature you can keep your food and drink consumption, the higher quality of your life. Something to keep in mind is, if you lie to yourself about your own degree of physical health and mental health and spiritual health, you are instantly preventing yourself from improving it, and lying to yourself is harmful to your mental health, so you're damaging that at the same time. So, again, your physical health is strongly being affected by your honesty to yourself about your own health. So, thank you all very much for taking that maturely. I did have more I wanted to say, but again, I'm tired, so I gotta get to bed. Remain peaceful, remain human. 对所有人的和平与爱，再次感谢上帝。睡得好。Good night.